All right, let's do this thing, huh? Greg, hit me with a theme song.
Oh, wait, what?
No way! Oh my god! No way! Oh my god!
Welcome, everybody, to episode 149 of 1 million. That's right. Next episode is a celebration, bitches, of the Serial Chillers podcast. As always, I ask, how goes it? Hello, Greg.
Cool, man. Do we have to do anything for the 150th episode?
Well, I was just going to ask, does it technically count because we deleted the first 15? So if you're listening in order, it's only episode 135.
But we've also done like how many side stories and all that other stuff too. So we're probably
I don't know.
Somebody do the math and let me know.
Cool. Eddie.
Or don't.
Eddie. We got a couple guests here with us. We'll get right to them in a moment. But make sure you guys are checking us out on the social medias. What do we say? What are we calling it? The social media grams. Instagram and TikTok, we are there. YouTube, we are there. Our Threadless store is threadless.com/serialchillerspodcast, or the other way around. I'm not sure. Go to our website, serialchillerspod.com. It has all that. I've gotten lazy. Once we got serialchillerspod.com, I didn't have to remember all the links. Just have them all lined up like that. I was like, I don't know, serialchillerspod.com. But if you want to send us cool drugs that don't have fentanyl in it, P.O. Box 1229, Clovis, California, 93613. If you want to send the fentanyl, hit us up on the regular messages.
Attention,
serialchillerspod.com for everything. I'm going to apologize now. We got a new serial chiller puppy in the house, so if we hear some barking in the background, that's just the way it is for today. Couple guests. One of them, I believe, has been here for a regular episode that didn't air, and then she was part of the tournament. So joining us for the third time, second to make it to air, hopefully. Welcome back, Kristen.
Hello.
Welcome.
How are you?
I'm good. Will this one make it to the other one? The other one didn't make it because of the file corruption or whatever. And
yeah, we had, or like some mic issue or something.
It was
We
terrible.
lost 4 episodes. Oh no, that's right. You were there.
And it was like, nope, files corrupt. Have fun.
That's basically one of that. We had almost that same issue happen last week, but since we used this new software, worked out fine. It captured everything before that. We reloaded, started over. Well, welcome back, Kristen. It's good to have you. I'm glad we can have you on again. Really quickly, at the top, tell everybody where they can find you, because I know you be doing streaming and stuff.
Oh, you can find me on Twitch at It's Kristen A.
Perfect. And for you non-Canadians,
and on grams and things like that. I do the gramming. I don't call it Instagram. I gram and I do the gramming. I also have a YouTube channel that sucks, but they can find me there.
you sound just like us. I don't know. We're places and things. I don't know. Just go find it. It's out there. It's out there. Well, welcome back. Good to have you. And also, my meeting with this person was through Kristen. Has become one of my favorite people. I will say on the internet and in the world these days, because there's not that many good ones out there. Welcome to the show. Good to have you, Craig.
Hello there. Hello there.
Would you like to share anything where people can find you, or do you like to keep it nice and secret like most of us do?
Well, I'm nowhere. I used to be on Twitch, but it's not really a thing anymore. Maybe one day. But it's not
stream
worth
like
going
once
to
every
anyway.
3 or 4 months. Like every 3 or 4 months.
I'm like the Olympics. I'm the Olympic standard of streamer. That's it. So
I love it.
A couple more years.
Perfect. So Kristen will let you guys know when Craig's going to stream. You guys go follow Kristen, and we'll make it happen that way.
It's true.
Well,
It's true.
welcome back, guys. Really quickly, references and citations for this episode. I'm just going to give you Wikipedia because the other ones are in a language that I cannot pronounce that do not use the same alphabet as the language I use. So apologies. I can link those if you'd like. But unless you can read, I believe, Cantonese, it will not make sense to you either.
Well, shit, I only know Mandarin.
Yeah, damn it. Most of you know how the show works. Let me explain it for anybody that doesn't. Each week, I sit down with old friends, new friends, good friends, and bad friends to tell the story of an infamous serial killer, something true crime, dark, creepy, unsolved, or otherwise mysterious. If something isn't clear, be sure to chime in, because if you have questions about the questions, be sure to ask questions, because I cannot answer questions about questions if you never asked questions. Are there any questions? And then welcome to and let's play the Serial Chillers podcast. Really quickly, before I tell you guys today's killer, Greg is going to take over for a little game we call Odds or Evens for Turn.
All right. Go ahead. Craig, you've never been here before. Go ahead. Your guess. Am I holding up odds or even fingers?
Evens.
It is even. So you can choose. Do you want to go first or do you want to defer?
I want to go first.
Okay. So on every odd number question, 1, 3, 5, etc., you will be answering first. And then on evens, Kristen will be answering first. That way there's a little bit of strategy that goes into this, because sometimes it's going to be like a closer two. So, like, you know, you're going to have to answer, and hopefully she doesn't use your answer as a clue and change her answer or do whatever. I'm just saying there's some strategy involved now.
We're changing up the game, everybody, and guess what? The prize is new and amazing and still absolutely nothing. So, today's killer, tell me, have you guys heard of Chinese serial killer Cheng Peng?
No.
No.
Not many have. That would let you know why most of the articles that I had to sift through, I translated from Cantonese, and it was quite difficult. Question number 1. In what year was Cheng Peng born? That's Chengpeng. Cheng Peng.
Are you sure this guy's real?
That was my favorite thing, is I was like, this seems like a made-up name, and this is going to be wonderful going in. I can promise you, as far as the internet tells me, Cheng Peng did exist and was born in what year? I believe Craig has odds.
I do. So obviously China's not been around for that long, so I'll go. It's a relatively new country, I believe. It was the 4th DLC of the world, wasn't it? I'll go with 1698.
Nice distance.
My turn?
Yes.
Yep.
Can you get closer than 1698?
I'm going to say 1954, but I also remember when I did one of your guys' quizzes, it was like 18 something. So
So Craig goes for a little more historical. Kristen comes a little more current. And Kristen's going to get the 250 points. Cheng Peng was born in Yinshuan in 1962. My apologies now to the Chinese people, even more than the English and Irish people, when I've got to nail those names down and just absolutely butcher them, or the upstate New York people. There's too many Shires. I got through about half an episode saying Greenwich, and Greg was like, you could just go ahead and call it Greenwich. That's what they call it there. And I was like, God damn it anyway.
I meant 1968, sorry. 1698.
I just got my numbers mixed up.
Fucking autocorrect.
Oh man. But so my apologies in advance, because the story, some of the locations are necessary, so left in. So names also, you need them when telling a story. And I didn't want to be like, his new name is Tom. So I'm going to just hang with me while I do my best to pronounce some of these. They are not of my culture or language, and I'm doing my damnedest. That's all I'm going to say. From
And we're a product of the the California public education system, which is
so, like, take that however you will or whatever, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's mid-tier at best.
All of it. We just lost all of our California public educators. What, those bastards slandering the system?
Yeah, we grew up in the 90s. Like,
yeah, that's true.
There were no standards.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Teft.
We were left behind before No Child Left Behind, man.
They were like, damn, we've left some children behind. Yeah.
We're the reason.
Some statutes or something.
We're the reason for No Child Left Behind.
Oh, man. All right. Well, hang with me while I mispronounce probably just every one of these. And listen, I'm always down to be taught how to say these things.
Oh, I was going to say ridiculed, but...
Well, that happens generally. That's why I throw out there like, hey, if you want to teach me, that'd be nice. Because shitting on me, that's fun and all. But, it takes its toll. Okay. Cheng Peng, born in 1962 in Yinshuan, comes from the family of cadres from Jingbian County in Shanxi. So listen, he was born into like a family of borderline cultists who were rebels against the Chinese government.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. So he grew up quite privileged, a privileged background due to his father's position within the cadres. Cheng received ample care from both of his parents, unlike many subjects of this show across many cultures that we cover. However, Cheng's behavior proved to be troublesome as he was expelled from junior high school for physically assaulting a teacher who had reprimanded him for bullying other students. That's correct. A teacher tried to stop him from bullying, and Cheng bullied the teacher.
I mean...
it's just funny to think about. Like, you there, stop that bullying.
Oh, no.
What? Give me your lunch money. I don't have a lunch money. I have a sandwich in the refrigerator at the teacher's lounge.
See, when you said assaulted the teacher, though, my first thought was like, I remember kids like in school who would throw shit fits and like whip chairs across the classroom and stuff.
Sure. Emotionally unstable children that hadn't been diagnosed yet.
Yeah. They were in the Left Behind classes with me.
You're like, I still haven't been diagnosed, damn it. I want to know what's wrong.
Just like throwing chairs.
So, he middle school is where it really starts, when he bullies his teacher who tried to stop him from bullying students. Despite his father's connections in life, Cheng would face many difficulties in his professional life after school. So he gets through it, but like nobody wants to hire him. He's a fucking asshole. His dad's pretty well connected, and even still, he's having a hard time finding something to do. So, makes it through school. He's an asshole, but he does fine academically. His father is connected, but basically not well connected enough to get him the kind of job he wants to get into right out of school, because he's one of these people that believes he deserves everything. As you will see as we continue, that will not cease. He did obtain a job at the Lin K Forestry Institute through his father's contacts, but his rude demeanor and extravagant spending made him an unpopular among his colleagues. Basically, he came in, and the Lin K Forestry Institute is like, you'll live within dorms for a while. You're doing forestry. He wasn't some CEO or anything. He was doing forestry work. He had dorms. And his dad got him the job, but he came in and basically was like, guess what, baby? Now this is a party dorm, and would buy a whole bunch of booze and, throw these over the top parties. And these guys were like, yo, we're trying to fucking sleep. Please cut it out.
We have to get up and work in the morning, dude. He's
exactly.
Like, I don't care.
We all work here together at the Lin K Forestry Institute. So if you could go ahead and just cut that out. He is pretty dissatisfied with his salary. Even though, he barely even got the job, but he decides that he's going to do something about it. Question number 2. What did Cheng do to get the pay that he believed he deserved? Did he A, work extra hard, B, convince his coworkers to strike, C, start stealing from work, or D, threaten his boss until he got the raise?
Well, I'm glad I'm not playing on this one, because my guess was going to be he altered some paperwork so that they just paid him what he felt he was entitled to.
Worked extra hard, convinced his coworkers to strike, started stealing from work, or threatened his boss until he got the raise. Kristen, I believe it is your turn to answer first.
C.
Started stealing from work. Craig, you're welcome to answer the same if you believe that to be correct.
Yeah, I figured he was going to try stealing as well. Because he's a
Okay.
wrong un, right? You have to start somewhere.
So, working at the Lin K. Forrester Institute, not getting the pay he believed he wanted. In order to make up that pay gap, he began stealing from work. 250 points to both of you.
Okay.
Yeah, because which one of us isn't like, Lee, I'm going to make this shit up in paper clips then, you motherfuckers?
I mean, yeah.
I've never done that.
It went much deeper than that. Cheng resorted to stealing various items from his workplace, and in 1982 was arrested for stealing a television and sentenced to 2 years in prison. So, you know, you fuck around and find out. How's your pay in prison, though, is what I'm curious about, I
I mean, cents a day.
suppose. Yeah, exactly.
For the price of a cup of coffee, you too could fund a prisoner.
Pay a prisoner.
Yeah.
So, in 1982, he was arrested for stealing the television. He could have gotten out because his father could have bailed him out, basically, and his dad was like, "Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. So, you go ahead and serve your time, and I'll see you when you get out there, son." After his release in 1988, Cheng was allowed to return to work. However, under pressure from his parents, he was coerced into marrying a college student who was 1 year older than him in May of the same year. So he's 23 years old. His parents are like, "Hey, what is this bullshit? You don't have any grandkids. You got nothing going on for us. You just got out of prison. We found this woman. You're going to marry her now." And he's like, fucking god damn it. All right, fine. And so their idea obviously is like, "Oh, this will calm him down. This will, bring him down to earth. He won't be so violent. He'll have someone. Unfortunately, due to his wife's demanding job, she was rarely even present at home, giving Chang the freedom to do as he pleased. And in mid-August, during a train ride back from a 3-day trip to Lanzhou, Chang encountered Mrs. Hu, a 24-year-old woman from Sichuan who was visiting relatives in Yinshuan. Chang struck up a conversation with her and eventually exchanged phone numbers upon reaching their destination. I know, you guys, I sound like a native speaker. Thank you.
When you said Mrs. Who, I was gonna be like, yeah, Mrs. Who, okay? And then I figured out that, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, who was she? As time went on, Chang and Mrs. Hu began dating, taking advantage of his wife's absence from home. However, as the relationship grew deeper, Chang started plotting Mrs. Hu's eventual end, knowing that he couldn't leave her in a traditional sense without risking her retaliating. So he's into the relationship for a while. He's like, "That's cool, dude. I got someone to hang out with while my wife's gone, do whatever." You know what I'm talking about. But if I leave her, wouldn't she likely tell somebody about a relationship? Perhaps my wife?
He just thinks that he's that much of a catch that this lady isn't going to be like, "Yo, this lumberjack is too much. I can't let him go. I got to ruin his life too." Like,
yes. Precisely that.
He's a little full of himself, a little bit of an ego on this one.
What? I don't believe you. After spending the night at Hu's residence, they would spend one at his house. The following day, Cheng was becoming very anxious about the imminent return of his wife, and thus was imploring his mistress to get the fuck out. Displaying a general lack of concern regarding the situation, she decided she was just going to focus on putting on her makeup instead of getting the fuck out. This was especially frustrating to Chang, as he wanted her gone and didn't want their relationship to be discovered by his wife. Like, he had it up pretty sweet, She's working, taking care of him. He just gets to hang out while she's gone all the time. But he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck around too." So he he's an asshole at the highest order, and there's just really nothing you can say about it. But he knows that he's got to take care of this woman because he can't do it in the traditional sense. So while she's distracted putting on her makeup, he picked up a tool, likely a giant pipe wrench, and struck her on the head, resulting in her instant death. Because you don't want your wife walking in on a mistress but a dead body, like, right? You could explain that away.
No, she broke in. She just started
Yeah.
doing her makeup. I had to
I
hit her in the
bashed
coconut.
that foundation was awful, and I thought she was a zombie.
She doesn't know how to blend.
No, it just ends, right? Like a mask.
To dispose of the lifeless body, he disrobed it and subsequently dropped it in the bathtub, where he proceeded to dismember it. Question number 3. What was his tool of choice for the butchery? Was it Greg? Yes.
Hold on. He has enough time to kill and dismember her, but not enough time to let her finish her fucking makeup. I feel like saying, hey, you know what? I'm not going to rush you. Take the 10 minutes, make sure your lashes look good, and then get on out of here because my wife's on her way home. That seems like the smart thing to do rather than...
was a front.
Oh, he just didn't want her there anymore? He was just like, I feel... After we've had sex, I have a clear head, and I feel like you should leave.
It's like, thanks for being here. We're done now.
Yeah. Yeah. You should probably go. You know what? I'll just kill you.
Should I call a taxi? Nah, I'll just murder you instead.
This seems cheaper. A little more effort, but definitely the frugal way to go. Question number 3. What was the tool of choice for the butchery? Was it A, a machete, B, kitchen knives, C, an axe, or D, a hacksaw?
I was hoping you'd say a gun, just shoot all the bits off like Pistorius. But I'll go with a hacksaw.
All right, Craig says hacksaw. Kristen, was it a machete, kitchen knives, axe, or a hacksaw?
I'm going to say an axe.
An axe.
I'm going to go with kitchen knives.
And kitchen knives. 3 guesses for 4 answers, and all of you are wrong.
No.
He would dismember Miss Hugh using a machete.
That's, you know what? Actually, now that you say that, I've seen Live Leak. That makes a lot of sense.
I was just going to say, I hate that we were on the very same page. You see like full on like gang attacks where it's just like 8 dudes with machetes versus 8 dudes with machetes. And you're like, this is nobody's going to win here, bud.
Dude, literally one swing and I'm quitting.
Like, I didn't even get hit. I'm just tired.
And it's terrifying.
Well, machetes are very useful, right? I mean, honestly, they use machetes to like cut down trees and stuff like that. Like that is actually a very, I didn't think it would be a machete. I felt like a machete was too obvious, maybe, in my mind.
I think it's because you're thinking of like the Friday the 13th machete.
Yeah.
And
not the practical,
not the one
that's
that's
practical tool
machete.
of the jungle.
Not the one that they sell at like Walmart that's like half that size. And
yeah.
It, it's for like camping and they use it to split kindling and the whole thing's like this long.
Exactly.
It's like the size of a hatchet,
So, dismembered with a machete. The remains were then interred in the backyard while the clothing was incinerated. I'm not sure what his big, situation with separating the clothing from the body is. But he's like, these can't possibly be buried. I have to incinerate these
People
separately.
saw her in the outfit, so if they see her again in the outfit, they'll be like,
I guess you're not terribly wrong. It is a way to identify. After her murder, his life is going to take a pretty dark turn, and lots of things are going to change. Along with the dark turn came a new fascination and hobby/money-making scheme. We're going real quickly into question number 4. What was this new hobby/scheme? Was it A, an illegal card room, B, dealing/smuggling drugs, C, cockfighting, or D, dog breeding?
Ooh, man, there are no losers in there.
Illegal card room, dealing and smuggling drugs, cockfighting, or dog breeding.
Buddy, get into all those. That sounds like...
Yeah, ¿por qué no los all?
I mean, maybe not the dog breeding because that sounds messy, but
Mm.
get the hat trick with the rest of them.
Sometimes you got to get your hands dirty to make that money. I believe this is Kristen's.
Yeah. Cockfighting.
Because it's the most fun to say.
It is. I just wanted to be able to
And you can eat the
say
loser.
word cock.
Craig, what say you?
I was going to say cockfighting because I seem to remember. I know it's Hong Kong, which isn't China, but triads. I'm going to get shot for that, aren't I? Triads. Didn't they? Aren't they famous for doing like cockfighting? I've made that up. I'm going cockfighting anyway.
All right, double.
I'm going to die. They're going to kill me. Don't tell me.
Double cockfighting. And listen, people have to listen to the show first, Craig. Don't worry. Double cockfighting is a 00 because Cheng Peng is going to dive deep into the world of dog breeding. Yes, the only one Greg opted out of due to how messy it was is the one that Cheng Peng is just going to just go for.
I guess I should have asked what his towel level, like his towel supplies were. Like, if he has a lot of towels, I guess dog breeding makes sense.
That's how you find out whether you're in or not. What's your towel situation? How many of these can be ruined?
See, I was kind of thinking drugs because I was like thinking of like Bad Boys, you know, when they're like putting drugs into people into coffins or whatever, and like I was like, maybe he's doing something crazy like that because that's some dark shit, right? You're gonna cut somebody open and shove them full of drugs.
I feel like that's a sentence that nobody's said in probably the last 20 years. I was thinking about Bad Boys.
Look, some of us like that.
Hey, it was a
movie.
great movie.
It's a great Martin Lawrence vehicle.
Early Will Smith.
Oh, I love it. So, yeah, he was fascinated by the idea of creating unique and powerful wolf dogs. So, in his joining this new hobby, as a lot of us do in Hyperfixate, he spared no expense in pursuing his newfound interest. To ensure the safety and containment of his growing pack, Cheng purchased a large fence and enclosed his own yard. However, his ambition knew no bounds, and he soon expanded his operation by enclosing his neighbor's yard as well, turning it into an impromptu dog farm. It seems like the way they put it, that his neighbor didn't really have a choice. But they never say, like, he stole his neighbor's yard. But just the way that it's put a lot, I'm like, oh, he just fenced it in and was like, this is mine now, fuck you. It's because he had a collection of between 20 and 30 different wolf dogs.
Jesus.
His hobby became increasingly expensive to maintain, and unfortunately, his low wage at the Forestry Institute made him difficult to sustain his lavish lifestyle. Like, stealing printers and shit wasn't enough to supplement the 20 to 30 dogs he had to feed.
His wife's like, yo, you gotta sell them to make your money back, stupid. He's like,
oh, but I love them.
Then I won't have them.
Faced with financial strain, Cheng's desperation led him down a dangerous path that got him his very own episode of the Serial Chillers podcast. In an attempt to make quick money, Cheng made the fateful decision to organize a small gang and embark on a series of robberies. He enlisted the help of his cousin, Xiao Xiaodan, who happened to be working as a temporary employee at the Linkei Forestry Institute. So his cousin rolls through and he's like, yo, Xiao, what the fuck's up? Were you trying to make some extra money? He's like, yeah, what are you thinking? He's like, gang?
Robbery.
Xiao's like, down, let's do this. Gang fam, gang. So Xiao and Cheng Peng are together now in their idea to, let's just fucking get something going. Together, they meticulously plan their criminal activities, focusing on acquire firearms to carry out their illicit operations. Cheng discovered that a subsidiary of the Forestry Institute had recently acquired a batch of products that he believed to be weaponry. Seizing this opportunity, he and Xiao devised a plan to infiltrate one of the warehouses on October 18th, 1990. Their mission was successful, and they managed to locate and steal 8 of a single type of weapon. Question number 5. What type of weapon were they able to steal from the warehouse? Was it A, a shotgun, B, a handgun, C, a rifle, or D, grenades?
Ooh.
So they got 8 of whatever they got. Was it shotguns, 8 handguns, 8 rifles, or 8 grenades? I wrote the answers, but I know which one I want it to be.
Yeah, I know which one I want it to be too.
Just pulls the pin. Hey, stick 'em up.
Well, I'm trying like in my head, I'd be like, okay, which of those would be applicable for the Forest Service?
Oh,
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
like we're gonna get that tree down. Ready, aim, fire.
all right, Craig. They're talking you through it. Your answer: shotgun, handgun, rifle, or grenade?
I'm gonna go with rifle. Because I would like it to be a different one as well. But yeah, I'll go with rifle.
Kristen.
I'm gonna go with shotgun.
Kristen is going to say shotgun.
Grenade.
I want to say grenade, but I'm gonna say shotgun.
Their mission was successful as they managed to locate and steal 8 shotguns.
Yes.
Eager to make these weapons more manageable and concealable, they sawed off the barrels and stocks of the 2 shotguns.
Hell yeah.
That's going to make it 750 to 250. 5 of 15 questions. Plenty of time. Plenty of time.
Plenty of time for me to screw up like I always do.
We've
It's all
got
good.
a lot of multiple choice, but towards the end, just to make it interesting, I put some stabbing questions out there, so those will be available. But yeah, suddenly the gang has several shotguns, and they've cut them off to make them more concealable, so they no longer have stocks and much shorter barrels. This will also widen the spread of a shotgun too, if the barrel is shorter. So lots of reasons you might shorten that thing up, and all of them are valid for gang use. They're definitely not like shooting birds from the sky with these things. There's no point to have them be 4 feet long. The remaining, so they did that to 2 of the shotguns. The remaining 6 shotguns were hidden in the roof of a shed, carefully stashed away for future use. Because there's only 2 of them in the gang right now. Well, you know, they don't need 8 shotguns. They're not Arnold Schwarzenegger and Terminator. They can't.
Welcome to the gang. Here's your shotgun. You got to saw it off yourself.
Yeah. It's a tiring process, but I promise it'll be worth it in the end.
Yeah, you got a hacksaw.
We use machetes. Just machetes only here. Cheng, driven by a sinister curiosity, honed his shooting skills by practicing on innocent chickens and ducks in his courtyard. The lifeless bodies of these animals would later serve as food for his dogs, a gruesome cycle that his neighbors had grown accustomed to witnessing and hearing. Little did Cheng know that his neighbor's familiarity with the sound of gunshots would inadvertently aid him in his later murderous endeavors. So basically, they're so used to hearing him be an asshole with a shotgun on his property that later, when he's going to like use it for murder, they're like, "You just son of a bitch out there just killing chickens again."
Yeah.
I was
Gotta make that dog food.
That's a big
Cheng
chicken.
Peng way. Yeah, exactly. That one he's why has he got a shovel? So, the chilling transformation of Cheng from a dog enthusiast to a cold-blooded criminal was marked by these dark and disturbing activities. I mean, basically, he is kind of going down this insanely dark rabbit hole. Cheng and Xiao continued their thieving spree, with the Institute becoming bolder and more daring with each successful heist. They would often sneak into the offices and labs after hours, using their knowledge of the building's layouts to avoid detection. They would steal anything they could get their hands on, from office supplies to expensive equipment. Their stolen goods began to pile up in their dorm, which they had converted into a makeshift storage unit. They would often invite other students over to show off their loot, bragging about their exploits and daring each other to join in. So they're working at this forestry institute and robbing it from the inside out while they're working there, and using their dorm on premises to store all of the stolen
the
goods.
Johnny Cash method, one piece at a time. That's how you take a company down from the inside.
And to top it all off, they're showing off. They're like, "Hey, you guys got to come check this out." Like, is that the projector from Third Hall? He's like,
I mean,
yep.
It does seem like if you're going to take somebody down, the ultra corrupt Forestry Institute is the place.
Yeah, those are the guys really just holding America back. just really like, what are we even doing? How have we even gotten past the Forestry Institute this long?
Right.
He's really just an environmentalist, isn't he? He's an environmental activist. He's just trying to stop the deforestation of the area. That's all.
Fucking
Like,
That's what it
hippies.
is, yeah.
one
Fucking
printer at a time.
hippie scum, dude.
A pack of pencils every day, you know, that'll do it.
I'll take it one piece at a time and it won't cost me a dime. You'll know it's me when I. Oh, sorry. Got into it for a moment. Yeah, look, he's a fucking idiot. He's inviting these kids in to see the stuff that he stole from his work, that he's storing at his work. Cheng's desire for more accomplices led him to recruit Yu Dawei, who was eager to get his hands on money owed to him by his manager from the Forestry Institute. Cheng saw this as an opportunity to expand their criminal enterprise and make some serious cash. The plan was simple. They would steal a car and use it to intimidate Mr. Li into paying Dawei the money he was owed. Chang had already scoped out a suitable target, a car parked in a nearby lot that belonged to one of the Institute's professors. On the night of the heist, Cheng, Xiao, and Dawei snuck out of their dorm room and made their way to a parking lot. They broke into the car and hotwired it, and then drove to Mr. Li's house. When they arrived, they found that Mr. Li was not home. Undeterred, they broke into his house and ransacked it, looking for anything of value. They found a safe and managed to crack it open, stealing a large sum of money. As they were leaving, they were confronted by Mr. Li, who had returned home unexpectedly. In the ensuing scuffle, Cheng and his accomplices managed to escape, but not before Mr. Li had gotten a good look at their faces. The theft of the car and the break-in at Mr. Li's house marked a turning point for Cheng and his accomplices. They had crossed a line and were now wanted criminals. I always like to he returned home unexpectedly. I would assume that anytime he returns home is expected, as it is his home. And you are the one who is there unexpectedly.
Right.
Just an observation that I'd like to make. Yeah. We couldn't even get our shit get out. He just showed up while we were trying to steal everything. The fuck's his problem? Nobody was expecting that. Fucking assholes. But I will say that Mr. Li should count his blessings, because not many people that cross these guys leave with their lives, which is sad. Not many, I should say. It's not all of them.
If it's sad, why'd you make it sound so fucking cool right there?
They had crossed the line. They're wanted criminals. The authorities are closing in. It's only a matter of time before they were caught. On December 22nd, 1990, Cheng and Xiao armed themselves with shotguns and proceeded to the train station with the intention of selecting a driver who would transport them to Mr. Li's offices. Their plan involved killing the driver and stealing his vehicle. Eventually, they identified a suitable candidate named Yang, who was driving a white minivan. Cheng approached Yang and requested his assistance in driving them to a casino in Yongning County. Yang agreed to their request, and during the journey, Cheng asked Yang to make a stop at a kiln farm under the pretense of needing to use the restroom. However, uncomfortable with the request, Yang suggested stopping at a public toilet further down the road. Basically, I ain't stopping at that dark-ass stop. I'll take you down where it's a little more lit up, right? At that moment, Cheng subtly signaled Xiao to shoot Yang. Due to Xiao's nervousness, he missed his target and instead hit one of the car's doors, causing it to swing open. So, I like to imagine yakety sax playing in the background while this is happening.
Yeah.
He just goes to shoot the driver, misses, and hits the door. Question number 6. What did Mr. Yang do in response to the shot? He pulled over and ran for his life. He pulled over and begged for his life. He pulled a gun on the two. Or he pulled over believing it to be a flat tire.
Just a shotgun goes off behind him and he's all, oh shit, what'd we hit?
Is it my turn first?
Yes.
Pulled over and ran for his life. Begged for his life. Pulled a gun. Believed it was a flat tire.
Pulled a gun.
Ooh.
Pulled a gun.
The old switcheroo.
Yeah, the switcheroo.
I was going to say gun as well, but I'm not going to, because I need to catch up. So I think flat tire.
Craig says flat tire. Kristen says pulled a gun.
I was hoping it was going to be something like swerved and made him fall out the door.
Oh.
Fortunately for Cheng and Xiao, who missed the shot, Yang mistook the noise for an exploding flat tire and decided to inspect the vehicle. He discovered a bullet hole in the door instead, and sensing danger, Cheng shouted that someone was shooting at them, causing Yang to panic and hastily retreat into the car and have Cheng and Xiao jump in too. So basically, they miss a shot trying to kill this guy. 250 points to Craig, by the way. They miss a shot in a car, by the way. They miss a shot. It hits the
Ow.
door.
How?
The driver pulls over. Whoa, was that a tire that exploded? As he's checking it out, Cheng, who was sitting next to the guy who missed the shot, goes, "Holy shit, there's a bullet hole in the door. They're shooting us. Get the car, get the car, get the car." They jump in, and Yang, who was the one who they tried to murder, starts driving them down the road. Like, fuck, we gotta get out of here. They're shooting at us. Holy shit, I can't believe it. So they're all three like in it together now. Holy shit, we're gonna die. We're being shot at. When really it was just a bad shot off the top. So he accelerated away at full speed, and eventually, at Cheng's request, Yang drove them back to Cheng's residence, where he was invited to have some tea. So he's like, "Fuck, man, I can't believe we made that out alive. We're friends for life now, bro. We got shot at. Come inside. We're gonna have some tea.
We were going to kill you, bro, but somebody tried to kill us, and that bonds you."
Yeah. Following Cheng's suggestion, Yang entered the house first, providing an opportunity for Xiao to shoot him in the back of the head with his shotgun, instantly killing him.
Psych, not bonded.
Bruv didn't even get tea. They then moved the lifeless body to a corner of the room, wrapped it in a canvas, and proceeded to Da Wei's house to pick him up. However, as Da Wei was not present at home, they returned to Cheng's house. Upon their return, the two individuals proceeded to remove the victim's clothing and proceeded to dismember the body using machetes. Classic them. Cheng then fed some of the body parts to his dogs, while the remaining parts were placed in a sack with the intention of burying them in an isolated area of Zhishawo. However, due to fear of discovery, the pair abandoned this plan and instead dug a hole in their backyard to bury the remains. Like, I don't want to get caught burying this way out in the mountains. You're right. What should we do then? Let's bury it in the backyard. What could possibly go wrong?
Do you realize how much blood is in the human body? Like, it's way more than you fucking think it is. And, like, to just dismember somebody in your living room after having just blown their head, I'm assuming completely off at point blank with a sawed-off shotgun. Like, I've seen that shit shoot pumpkins.
At least the top of it. We've all seen scanners, right?
Well, I've seen people shoot pumpkins with shotguns. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's messy. It's messy.
Some of us have seen ISIS videos.
Yeah. Or, like, the slow motion one. Like, anyway. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was just really excited that he said he fed him to his dogs, because this whole time I'm like, he better be feeding these people to his fucking dogs, okay?
Very
like the whole
Hannibal
time
Lecter of him.
Yeah,
They're
the
good
whole time
boys.
I'm like, he's better feed them to the dogs.
They need
feed them to the dogs.
He said he wanted the good wolf dogs. So.
You don't feed them chicken fingers, you feed them people fingers.
Yes. I was just really excited. It was like
they can have people bones because they're not hollow like chicken bones.
It's true.
There you go. They're just tiny. All my tarsals. Okay, so they wrapped it in canvas. They moved it over, fed it to some dogs. They were going to bury it, but instead decided to put it in the backyard. Only the victim's clothing and head were left behind when Cheng disposing of the head in the Institute's boiler room. So he took it and threw it in the boiler. How much
head could there possibly have been? Like, I imagine it was just like a Ziploc bag full of chili. Like, that's
not even good chili, Skyline chili.
I'm looking at it and I'm like, you shot somebody at point blank with a shotgun in the back of the head.
Yeah, I mean, if it were an upward angle, you take the whole like crown off, but the front would.
I don't know, dude.
There was some head left. There was enough to just throw it in the old boiler.
Classic. That's a classic move, though, right? People throwing body parts into boilers and in their apartment buildings, in their houses, at
Just
work.
at work. Here you go.
Yeah.
You are now forever part of the Lynn K. Forestry Institute. As the minivan had been damaged during the incident, the two decided to abandon it in a parking lot near Yinchuan before leaving the scene. Cheng and Xiao remaining in hiding for approximately 2 weeks following the murder in order to avoid any potential scrutiny from law enforcement. On the 8th of January 1991, Dawei paid a visit to Cheng to inquire about the progress of the payments that he was trying to get from Mr. Li. After treating Dawei to a meal, Cheng informed him that they would approach Mr. Li to request the money. Once they had finished their dinner, Cheng contacted Xiao, and the three individuals proceeded to the Nanmen bus station. It was there where they entered a beige FSO Polonaise, a taxi belonging to a man named Zhang. So this is like a cool-ass looking little Chinese station wagon.
Yeah.
I looked it up. I was going to make a question about this, but I couldn't find any good Chinese branded vehicles that I could also pronounce consistently. So I tried, y'all. I tried.
Bro, do you know what the do you know what FSO stands for?
Nope.
Me neither. I'm looking at it and I can't pronounce that.
Oh, is that? See, there we go. And that was the one I didn't have to look. I was trying to just find 3 other ones. But I did learn that I believe Lincoln sold more cars in China in 2021 than the United States. Lincoln, quite popular in China. Anyway, all that, and I didn't even make it a question. So, unbeknownst to Zhang, Xiao had intended to shoot him in the head inside this taxi. Basically, no witnesses, right? However, due to sudden braking in the vehicle, Xiao lost his balance and missed his target, instead creating a hole in the car's windshield. No, we are not telling a weird retelling from a third person of the first story. This is a completely new thing. That's correct. This gang has now missed a point-blank shot from within the confines of a vehicle on an unsuspecting taxi driver for a second time in a row.
Wow.
Yeah. The unexpected turn of events startled Zhang, prompting him to swiftly exit the car and flee while loudly proclaiming that they were attempting to take his life. Gripped by panic and fearing apprehension, the trio abandoned the vehicle and pursued Zhang on foot. Cheng fired multiple shots in Zhang's direction. Question number 7. In what way did Zhang respond to the shots being fired in his direction? Did he A. surrender, B. hide until found, C. ran and got away, or D. fought back? Surrendered, hid until found, ran and got away, or fought back? This one is Craig's.
It sounds very Police Squad, this entire... I think he just carried on running. Run away.
The Forrest Gump method.
Yes, run. Run, Forrest, run.
I want to say he fought back. I want one of these guys to fight back, so I'm going to say he fought back.
Yeah, so the bullets would whiz by him and cause him to rethink his method and slow down, enabling his pursuers to close in on him. Eventually, Zhang knelt down and surrendered and pleaded for mercy. 0 points across the board there. It is still 750 to 500. Very close game with plenty to go. We're not even halfway there. So he knelt down and surrendered, only to be met with disdain from Cheng, who handed his firearm to Dawei and instructed him to eliminate Zhang, thus ensuring no witnesses would be left behind, also ensuring that Dawei's fucking down, right? Like, Cheng's not dumb. He's like, I've already killed. I need some of you motherfuckers to join that, so it's not just me doing this stuff. So he hands it to Dawei. Dawei hands the weapon back to Cheng, who then just proceeded to shoot Zhang in the head. Subsequently, he retrieved a knife and informed Dawei that he required assistance in dismembering the body. However, Dawei would also decline, stating that he could not bear the gruesome task. Instead, the 3 individuals proceeded to stuff the lifeless body into the trunk of a taxi and directed their course towards Mr. Li's trading company. During the journey, Dao Wei realized that Cheng would likely harm Mr. Li if they were to locate him, so in response, Dao Wei cautioned his accomplices that it might be too early and Mr. Li might not be present. Consequently, Cheng and Xiao decided to return to Cheng's residence, where they released Dao Wei with a warning not to disclose the events to anybody. Cheng and Xiao then proceeded to Jishawo, where they buried Zhang's body in the sand. However, on their way back, Cheng contemplated that it would be more suitable to feed the remains to his dog, so they retraced their steps and retrieved the corpse from the burial site and transported it to Cheng's house.
Wait.
Yes.
So they
yes,
went to Cheng's house, and they were like, "We got to get rid of this body." So they went someplace else and buried it in the sand, and then they left. And they were on their way back to Chang's house, and they were like, "Wait a second, what are we doing? Should feed this to the dogs." So they went back to the burial site, dug up the body, and brought it back to the place that they originally fucking started out in.
Basically, but they didn't start at Cheng's house after they had the body. So they were never at Cheng's with the body. But yeah, basically, yes.
Basically, they're the worst criminals.
They were out and about when they
have a plan,
obtained
write
the
it
body.
down, dude. Like, have an idea of what you're doing before you leave the fucking house.
It's also the second time that Jishawo was the destination and it wasn't used. The first time they were like, no, I'm just going to do it in the backyard. The second time they buried it there and went back and unburied it and fed it to the dogs.
I imagine that there's like 4 or 5 just corpse-sized holes in the sand wherever they are. And they're like, what the fuck happened
What the
here?
hell happened here?
Yeah. I don't know. Just some guys trying to weekend at Bernie's their friend out of there.
They should have gone into dog food. That's the thing. This dog seems to be the target of all the food. When he was younger, the father, instead of marrying off, just thought, yes, we'll do a pedigreed chum kind of thing with our son.
I mean,
millionaire.
That's not a bad idea. We had a guy who we think, or we're pretty sure, put people in hot dogs and sold them in Canada.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Kristen,
Sausages in the local markets.
Say, were you a big hot dog fan in the 90s?
No, but there are people that are scared they ate sausages and stuff from the markets that he used to sell meats to. So they never released the names of the markets in the area, so nobody you wouldn't
Which
know.
means so many of you guys ate it.
Yeah, not
So
told me about this.
Have you got the hunger?
Yeah,
I told you about it. Yeah.
Willie
Sorry,
Picton.
what? Yeah, Willie Picton. Yeah. No, they never told that. Like they
I got the hunger.
said, you know, it was a very, like, for a while it was a very prominent farm, you know,
Yeah.
like for like very reputable for many years or whatever, and then, you know. But yeah, it was mentioned. I remember one time they mentioned when it came out, you know, like that he used to sell meats locally, but they didn't like disclose what markets it was for obvious reasons, right? You're not going to tell the general public, hey.
I would.
And I think one of the bigger parts too was less his meats, more his renderings. So the stuff that was going into like dog food and makeup and so, like, he was rendering people.
Yeah, he was rendering things you didn't want to think about.
Yeah. So go back and check out our Willie Picton episode if you want to hear more about that. If this stayed in the episode.
Used to drive by the site all the time when they were excavating it too. It was
I remember
crazy.
you telling me that. That's
nasty.
Probably smells so good. So due to the increasing number of corpses at Cheng's property, things are kind of getting a little full over there. He's going to go ahead and throw a layer of concrete over it. Like, hey, you know what? All these bodies are in the way. I'm going to get a new patio. You guys like basketball? I'm going to throw a half court up. Following the disposal of the remains, Xiao inquired about the fate of the car. Cheng responded that it would be preferable to eliminate it due to the damages that had been sustained, and subsequently the duo drove the taxi
Kill the
to
car.
the Dongfeng bathhouse. Yeah, I basically abandoning it in the parking lot before departing. So, I mean, if you're going to try to kill somebody in a car, or you actually succeed with a shotgun, it's going to be a mess, and it's going to be damaging to the vehicle. It just is. Shotgun blast, quite powerful. Even slowing down through the head, I'm sure you're gonna at least rip the liner after it's made its way through.
Well, you're at least not getting it clean.
Yeah, exactly. So they're gonna drive and park it at the Dongfeng bathhouse, just abandoning it there. As time passed, Dawei gradually distanced himself from Chang, eventually severing all contact. So, smart guy. Chang remained unconcerned, believing that Dawei would be far too intimidated to report any of their actions to the authorities, thus allowing him to evade immediate consequences. Around the winter of 1991, Chang was dancing at the Fuju ballroom when his attention was captivated by a young woman who was gracefully dancing as well. This woman was named Ms. Liu. She was in her early 20s and was known as a hard worker. Question number 8. What was her job? Go ahead, Greg.
I just the way you described them, like he was dancing at this place and she was gracefully moving to the other. I just imagine her like dancing like a normal person, and then like a jump cut to him, just all sweaty, shirt unbuttoned.
It's like It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, karate
Yeah.
karate dancing and shit. Like, yeah, just all coked up.
I hadn't before, but now that's exactly how I picture it. Question number 8. What was her job? Was she A, nurse? B, did she work at a cotton factory? Was she a receptionist or an assembly line worker? Nurse, cotton factory worker, a receptionist, or assembly line worker?
Sorry, is it me first?
Yeah, this one is Kristen's.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna say nurse. I'm gonna say nurse.
I'm going to say cotton factory. Because they still make cotton, right? So,
Well, listen, sometimes deductive reasoning is the way to go, because that's 250 points to Craig, as this young Miss Liu did find herself as an employee at a cotton factory. So that's a tie now, 750 to 750. We don't need to save plenty of time because we're just past halfway through. That's 7 questions remaining, and we've got a tie. Miss Liu works at the cotton factory, and Cheng was intrigued by her presence and approached her, and they agreed to get together at the ballroom the following evening. As the night unfolded, their connection deepened, leading them to spend the night together. Ooh! In the days that followed, Chang took Miss Liu out for a meal, and during their conversation, he proposed the idea of them stopping by his place. To his delight, she accepted his invitation. Subsequently, they embarked on an affair. It was during this time that Mrs. Liu disclosed a secret to Chang. She revealed that her family was actively involved in finding a suitable partner for her to marry. Due to their financial constraints, she sought out someone who appeared affluent, hoping that they would contribute towards the wedding expenses, which amounted to approximately 3,000 yuan. Chang, understanding her predicament, requested 10 days to gather the necessary funds, and Miss Liu agreed to the proposition. So basically, he's like, yeah, give me 10 days, but in the meantime, we're going to keep fucking, right? And she's like, oh, of course. Like, that's been kind of nice. He's like, good, yeah, so I'll get the money in 10 days, and then, we'll do the marriage thing. Hey-o. And so, of course, they did that and lived happily ever after. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Episode 149 of the Serial Killers podcast. When the day arrived, Chang welcomed Miss Liu into his home. After spending the night together, they woke up in the morning, and Miss Liu sat at the table. And once again, as she applied her makeup, Chang took one of his shotguns and callously shot her in the head. Shockingly, he proceeded to disrobe her, fastened a rope around her neck, and dragged her lifeless body into the neighboring yard, where he left it to be consumed by his dogs. 3 days later, upon inspecting the scene, Chang discovered only remnants of the tragic event, the head, a few scattered bones, and the rope itself. Without hesitation, he disposed of the head in the boiler room, buried the bones in the backyard, and incinerated the clothing.
So, is he still married during this?
Yeah, she's floating around somewhere, but he's very absent.
Could you imagine coming home and there's just a new shotgun hole in the wall, and like blood everywhere, and you're like, "Hey, have you seen my good rope?" And he's like, "Oh yeah,
Or
it's
you're
in
just
the
like,
yard with the dogs." Or you're the neighbor.
It smells like bleach.
Imagine being the neighbor, and you just like you're having coffee in the morning, and you look out the blinds, and you just see a guy dragging a headless corpse by the neck on a rope into your yard.
It's like,
and
I see you out there, Cheng.
And-
no, you don't.
And then like 60 dogs just fucking chow down on it, and you're just like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go look out the front window instead. Like,
I put up that bird feeder, but the dogs keep scaring them away.
yeah, like what do? Do you go over there? Hey, Cheng.
Nobody
Noticed you were putting dead bodies back there now, and hey, listen, I'm all for recycle, reduce, reuse. But did those people ask to be murdered, or
also your dogs have been digging up my garden? So
And listen, azaleas are hard to come by this time of year.
Nobody likes a nosy neighbor, and this seems like a great neighbor who just minds their own business. They're like, you know what? That's not my business. I'm just gonna
Listen, Cheng, I know you stole my backyard, but I really like and respect you, so I'm just gonna turn my head the other way for this.
big fan of what you got going.
What? Oh, sorry, I can't hear you over the barking of 50 dogs.
And my ears are shot out from all the close quarters shotgun blasts.
So, yes, he drug the body over. Within a couple days, it was basically fully taken apart. He got rid of what was left. Without hesitation, he disposed of it in the boiler room, buried the bones, incinerated the clothing. Question number 9. This one you guys are going to love. What outlandish activity would Cheng get into next?
Oh, God.
Is it A, race car driving, B, the movies, C, politics, or D, become a hacker?
Oh my God.
Race car driving, the movies, politics, or become a hacker? This one is Craig's.
Question: does he have fingerless gloves?
Listen, he can be however you want to imagine him.
I was race car driving. That's what jumped out at me. I was trying to think of famous Chinese race car drivers, and I couldn't.
Well, there's
one I can think of.
There's Cheng Peng that I can think of off the top of my head.
That was him. Yeah. Yes. I'll go with race car driver.
Kristen.
The movie?
Race car, the movies, politics, or he got into the movies. They're going to put me in the movies.
The movies.
Well, in March of 1993, renowned Chinese filmmaker Xi Jin and his film crew selected Senbi Fort in Ningxia as the filming location for their latest cinematic endeavor titled An Old Man and His Dog. That's right. Cheng Peng is going to have dogs, or at least a dog, make it into the movies.
Yes.
His dog training is going well, guys. During production, the production would encounter a challenge finding a suitable dog for the project. In response, the film crew took the initiative to publish an advertisement in local newspapers and television seeking puppies that could fulfill the role required. Numerous individuals expressed their interest, yet Xi Jin proved to be quite discerning, frequently rejecting applicants based solely on the site. Eventually, fate intervened when Cheng, accompanied by one of his dogs, caught Xi Jin's attention and received immediate approval. Following Xi Jin's instructions, Cheng was granted permission to remain on set and assist his dog in performing certain scenes. As a token of appreciation, Cheng was even cast as the body double for the film's main actor Tian Xi during specific horseback riding sequences. Upon the film's release, it achieved remarkable commercial success in China and garnered several prestigious awards. Basically, this is like, I tried to come up with a good comparison, but this movie is like China's Forrest Gump. Like everybody had seen it. It was fucking huge. It had some of the biggest actors in the world and in China at the time, and it was wildly successful beyond even the production's wildest dreams. It was a very, very huge movie.
Wait. So is the dog in the picture for the movie, for the poster, is that a people eating dog?
Yeah.
Potentially, it's a dog that ate people.
And I will replace the word potentially with the two words most likely.
Wow.
But that cannot be confirmed. But basically, this thing won awards. When it says prestigious awards, like think of the Chinese Academy Awards. Like this thing won.
Yeah.
Right here, dude. I'm on the IMDb page for it.
Me too.
And under the trivia, it says trivia was banned in its country for decades due to the discovery that the dog's trainer and the body double to the lead actor was a serial killer who fed his victims to his dog.
Kristen, you get off there so you don't get any answers on accident.
It's cheating. This is cheating.
I've closed it. I just wanted to see.
You IMDb after.
I just wanted to see. I just wanted to look up. I just wanted to see. Is this movie is it searchable?
Well, I mean, fascinating to think because the dog is on the cover, when you see the old man and it's called The Old Man and the Dog.
That's all I wanted to see.
But also,
That's all I looked at.
Cheng Peng is in the movie.
Yeah.
Basically, anytime the main protagonist is riding a horse, it's actually Cheng Peng. So cannibal dogs and serial murderers don the
posters and stuff.
The posters of The Old Man and the Dog. So yeah, it's going suddenly well for Cheng Peng upon the film's release. Again, very, very successful. Consequently, Cheng's reputation as a dog breeder soared, attracting significant interest from potential customers. Among these individuals was a Mrs. Yu, a married woman who was 7 years older than Cheng and had been a member of the film crew for An Old Man and His Dog. An illicit affair soon blossomed between the two, and at some point, Cheng entrusted Mrs. Yu with the spare key and informed her that she could visit him whenever she desired, as long as his wife was absent from their home. In April of 1994, Cheng received a call from Yu inquiring if she could pay him a visit on the next day. Due to their prolonged separation caused by Yu's return to her hometown in Hebei to attend her late father's funeral, Cheng agreed to her proposal. So they had been hanging out a lot, but it had been several months since they had seen each other at this point. So they get together, they indulge in a lavish meal at an upscale restaurant. And after that, question number 10, what did they do next? Good, innocent fun, right? Was it an ice cream shop? Did they stop for coffee? Did they watch the sunset? Or go for karaoke?
Ooh.
Ice cream, coffee, sunset, or karaoke? Kristen's answer this time, and she does have a 1,000 to 750 lead.
I'm gonna say ice cream. I don't know why, but I want to say ice cream
because it's delicious.
It is.
That's why.
It is.
Great.
Ice cream is delicious, but I'm gonna say sunset.
A nice, beautiful sunset after
no
an
ice cream
dinner.
Sunset, but not having ice cream.
After their fancy dinner, the two took one another's hands and proceeded to karaoke.
Damn it!
Yeah,
Why
fuck yeah.
Birds suddenly appear.
I just felt like that was too cliche. Maybe part of me said karaoke, but I was like, no, let's not go for the obvious answer.
Karaoke, quite a popular activity in Asian countries.
Yep.
I thought having it on there would be he would put karaoke on there because it is one of the most popular activities.
Yeah.
And I would like to say that I got you, fucker. Normalize having Tenacious D's tribute in your karaoke book. I'm just saying, I've seen a few karaoke bars who have it, but it should be just on all of them. All right, every single one. What's that, Greg? Fabriaka Shumchero Shushuwich?
Yeah.
That's that car name, right? That's the car name.
That's the that's what FSO stands for.
Shit. Wow. No wonder I just called it FSO.
Yeah.
So yes, they went to karaoke, then they went and hung out at Cheng's house. At Cheng's house, they did what people who are into each other and haven't seen each other in several months do. And at this time, Yu unexpectedly disclosed a pregnancy to Cheng Peng, asserting that Cheng was likely the father. Unbeknownst to her, Cheng had no intentions of having children with anyone other than his wife, and upon learning of this, he promptly initiated plans to eliminate you. The following morning, as guess what she was doing? Applying makeup.
Class.
Cheng would then receive one of his shotguns and callously shoot her in the back, leaving her to suffer on the floor as she gazed up at him. He purposefully didn't shoot her in the back of the head. He went for a non-kill shot. I'm not sure why exactly that was, but he did, and claims to have left her to stare up at him. Also, unlike his previous victims, Cheng chose not to dismember her remains, instead opting to bury her intact body in his backyard. As a final farewell, he set fire to some paper atop her grave. So I found that line in all the articles, and I didn't quite know what that meant. There is a festival celebrated in tons of Asian, 10 or 11 Asian cultures, called the Qingming Festival, that takes place in March, where you burn some type of paper on the graves of a loved one. It's very like Dia de los Muertos
It's
feeling.
it's like flash paper almost, where when you burn it, it goes up in a puff of fire, and then the ash rises up. Like,
so it's like symbolic for spirituality.
yeah. They were fucking with it
Yeah.
on one of the most recent episodes of Bob's Burgers.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched that one.
That's where they kept writing wishes on it.
Yeah, and like lighting them up. Louise wanted all the fire paper.
Is that the same thing Hulk Hogan nearly set his face on fire using? He had some sort of paper and he lit it and he sort of singed his
I don't know about
Oh,
that.
probably.
eyebrows. Yeah.
Probably something
You don't
similar.
know the Hulkamania story? What the fuck?
Was that before, during, or after he was having an affair?
Was he at there was a before?
Don't ruin Hulkamania for me. It's say your prayers, eat your vitamins. It's wholesome.
He said
Leave it alone.
vitamins.
So around a month after Yu's murder, Chang received an unexpected visit from a bespectacled man on a bicycle. I like that he described him as a bespectacled man on a bicycle. Also, Google Translate might have a lot to do with what he called him.
That also that implies that the glasses were the most important part of his face. Like, he was pretty unremarkable other than these giant, obnoxious,
bespectacled man on a bicycle.
Otherwise, he was just a guy with glasses. You know what I mean? But the fact that he probably had these outrageous glasses, like I picture him with like Elton John style, like the sequins and the feathers and.
I don't hate what you're picturing. I'm going to go with it in my head now for the rest of the story. So, initially unsure of the man's identity, Cheng was surprised to learn that it was indeed an old junior high school classmate named Ma Wei. Ma had heard from mutual friends that Cheng was involved in dog breeding and sought his advice on training 10 Tibetan Mastiffs. If anybody knows this dog, it's a fucking giant monster dog. It's also a very valuable dog, and Chang knew that because he agreed and realized that this particular breed of dog was quite valuable. So he contacted Xiao and informed him of the new money-making opportunity of robbing this guy motherfucking blind of these Tibetan Mastiffs. Xiao would agree to assist him because fucking payday, right? Pretty easy to steal some dogs. The following day, Xiao and Chang waited for Ma to arrive so that they could rob him. Question number 11. For what reason did they not rob him? Is it A, he brought his wife and kid? B, they learned that he was a priest? C, they learned that he was a cop? Or D, the dogs were too intimidating? 10 Tibetan Mastiffs would be a fucking wild ride. Why didn't they rob him? Because he brought his wife and kid. They learned he was a priest. They learned he was a cop, or his dogs were too intimidating. This one is Craig's.
Priest, I think he's finally found religion. He's going to turn good and make it all right.
I like your positive
and
outlook.
it's a happy ending at some point. Priest.
Kristen.
I think it's the dogs. He wants to crossbreed them.
Bruh. I just looked up a Tibetan Mastiff and there's a picture of a pissed off one because most of the time they look happy and lovable. This guy looks wild, bro.
Quite angry. Okay, so for what reason did they not rob him? The two were taken aback when they discovered that Ma Wei was actually a police officer.
Damn it.
Although they briefly considered just killing him and taking the dogs, Cheng ultimately decided against it and let Ma live. Yeah, so he rolls up like, "Hey, I got you guys. I'll give you a hand. Yeah, bring your dogs." And he calls Shao and he's like, "Yo, we're robbing this motherfucker." And he like rolls up in uniform with 10 Tibetan Mastiffs. He's like, "Oh, just JK, LOL. Just carry on."
Weird, dude. I would have done it, but cop uniforms don't burn in the incinerator, so.
Yeah. Following this incident, Cheng began helping others in the dog breeding business. We're almost like on Craig's level right here. He's like, "Wow, it's almost like legitimate business is worth it. I could just help people train dogs and train dogs myself." This would catch the attention of two former classmates, Zhang Ming and Mr. Wang. We all love that. Who was the manager and the deputy manager of a trading company in Yinchuan. Zhang initially approached Cheng under the guise of seeking help with the dog breeding, but eventually presented him with a business opportunity involving the purchase of cashmere wool for 1.5 million yuan. Chang agreed to the deal, but Zhang requested some time to gather the necessary funds, to which Chang acquiesced. Another person who approached Chang because of his business was another old classmate, Lin Samwei, an employee at the local nitrogen fertilizer factory. The two eventually became close friends, and after listening to Li complain about his low wage for some time, Chang asked him if he was willing to be recruited for a quick money-making scheme. Li then said that as long as it would make money, he was willing to do anything, and immediately agreed. Chang's like, "Cool, all right, take my pants off then." But I mean, hold on.
What grade of cashmere was it? You know, like if it was if it was the good stuff, like okay, but if it wasn't, it's probably not going to make you a whole lot of money.
Right. So basically, they're getting in to buy this cashmere. Zhang informs Chang that he managed to gather the 1.5 million yuan for the purchase, and the money is at his house. So he told Zhang he's going to come visit him, and they would make the deal. On the 7th of January, 1995,
Never go
Cheng
to a
invited
second location.
On the 7th of January 1995, Cheng invited Li and Zhang to his house to have dinner. After eating, he prepared strong tea laced with sleeping pills and gave it to Zhang, who soon faded into unconsciousness. As an initiation ritual, he gave a shotgun to Li and told him to kill Zhang, but Li refused and returned the shotgun. Cheng then shot Zhang in the head, killing him instantly. The pair then dragged his body to the backyard and buried it hastily before they traveled to his house to get the money. To Chang's surprise, however, he only found a few hundred yuan in his home. Believing that Zhang had likely hidden it somewhere, he thought of asking his wife, but he knew that asking directly would make it seem suspicious. So he thought up a plan to extract information. Like, "Hey, where's your dad? I mean, not dead. You don't know he's dead. Where's your husband keep 1.5 million yuan? Like, if he had it, like where would he keep that?" Just wondering. Do you know, or
if you were your husband, where would you hide $1 million?
So on the following evening, Chang went to a payphone and called Zhang's house. When his wife answered, he pretended to be an anonymous business partner and explained the situation. But Zhang's wife said that she knew nothing of the money and told him to just ask her husband. After finishing the call, Mrs. Zhang became worried and called Mr. Wang to ask where her husband was. Wang said that he had not seen him for the past 2 days, and when he called him on his telephone, was surprised to hear that it was not Zhang, but Chang who answered, claiming that he had been given the phone by Zhang himself.
Here, you answer. I don't want to answer it.
I think it was more like, no, this is my phone now. Zhang gave it to me, so I don't know why he didn't tell you that.
Stop calling me on my phone.
Yeah. This is my husband's number. It was your husband's number. It isn't anymore. How can I make that any more clear?
I suggest you get more practice operating your telephone machine. Ahoy.
Is it 10 o'clock? It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? I told you yesterday.
No.
No. So after this phone call, Mrs. Zhang is like, what the fuck is going on? And she remembers hearing the name Cheng before, realizing that it was her husband's old classmate, Cheng Peng, who was also likely the same person who had called her on the phone. She pondered on the situation for the next few days before eventually contacting the police to file a missing persons report. After describing the strange circumstances that occurred, the authorities immediately started investigating Chang. Upon learning that Chang was also the last person to have seen Zhang alive, he was summoned to the police station on the 16th of January for questioning. Chang explained in a calm and collected manner that Zhang had gone to Yunnan Hall to sell drugs with his
Hell
relatives,
yeah.
who were operating out of Lanzhou. What's
Oh,
that?
hell yeah, dude. That's dope.
Yeah. And that he had borrowed 3,000 yuan and the telephone from him. So basically, like, he's like, oh, he went drug dealing. I just borrowed some money and his phone from him in the meantime. And they're like, seems to check out. Following the discovery of remains on Chang's property, law enforcement issued an official arrest warrant for him, and Chang commenced an investigation into the possibility of his involvement with any other potential accomplices. Shortly thereafter, individuals close to Chang informed authorities that he had a close relationship with his cousin, Xiao Xiaodong, who had already fled to Shenzhen and sought refuge with relatives. With the assistance of local police, Xiao was swiftly apprehended and extradited to Ningxia on the 29th of January. During police questioning, Xiao readily admitted to his participation in the murders of 2 taxi drivers and theft of firearms, further implicating Yu Dawei, who was subsequently arrested a few days later. Meanwhile, knowing that he was completely fucked, Chang embarked on a westward journey along the Yinggu Highway, endeavoring to evade any police checkpoints along his route. Eventually, he stumbled upon an unoccupied school for students with disabilities, as it was currently vacant due to a winter break. He concealed himself in a heating ditch within the school's premises, subsisting on food from the cafeteria and tap water. Question number 12. For how long did he live in the school's heating system?
That's so awesome, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I love it.
Just the dead of winter, school's out, and he just lives inside the heating system. So I looked it up, and basically a heating ditch would be like, instead of having air vents all the way through the school, they'll pump the air into a ditch in the ground, which is, the earth is very good insulator, and that will vent into the room. So imagine your building sitting over a ditch and air being pumped into that ditch, and that ditch venting into all the rooms. It's really popular with big rooms like schools.
Right.
Huh.
Right.
Yeah. So
We use it in
the
prisons
vent is
there,
the
in old
ground.
prisons.
Yeah, it's big. That would be an exact yes. So, and he's like, I'll just live in that ditch, living off of the cafeteria food and tap water. So, question number 12, no multiple choice on this one. Closest to the answer gets 250 points. 1,000 points if you can nail it. For how long did he live in the school's heating system? This first one, this is Kristen, has to answer first.
Two weeks.
2 weeks, 14 days. Greg.
I could be a dick and go 13 days, but I'm not. I'm gonna go 4 days. I think it
4
didn't last
days.
long.
We're going to give Kristen 250 points because Cheng Peng would find himself living inside the heating system for 10 days.
Oh,
10
I almost
days
said
in a
8
heating
days.
system.
I almost said 8. So,
Well, when you said 2 weeks, I almost asked for clarification. I was going to say, is that 2 business weeks, like 10 days, or is that 2 calendar weeks, like 14 days?
right.
That's why I said 2 weeks, 14 days, because I figured she would go, "No, I meant 10 days." If it was the other way around. So still plenty of time. We got 3 questions remaining, and we can get it done. Lost my place. Thank you, Greg. So he yes, lived for 10 days in the school's heating system. He would utilize some of the money that he had on his person, and during that time, he would purchase an old hat and padded jacket from a local farmer, so that helped along his way. He would
Can you
continue his
imagine?
trek along the Ying.
Could you
That's how you had to buy your clothes.
just imagine, like, hey, farmer, I live in a heating ditch. Let me buy your hat and jacket. They're like, he's
well,
like,
I don't know.
yeah, how much? Let's see. I've got this much money on me. Yep, that'll work.
Yeah, I suppose I could spare these two.
Yeah.
So he would continue his trek along the Yinggu Highway and chanced upon a wanted poster featuring his own face, which was affixed to a telephone pole. In response, he hailed a passing farmer who was riding a bicycle, fabricating a story about being swindled out of a substantial sum of money and unable to return home due to his physical frailty. The farmer kindly offered him a ride to the nearest bus station, where Cheng boarded a bus bound for Otog, Front Banner, and the Inner Mongolia. Chang eventually found himself in Atuoke, Queen Kui, where he registered at a nearby motel using the alias Bai Baoshan. Interestingly, this happened to be the name of an unrelated serial killer who would later be apprehended. Although this is not believed to be a connection between Chang and the serial killer, it is believed to be just a mere coincidence.
What are the odds, man? Like, that's like Ted Bundy being on the run, and they're like, hey, what's your name? And he was like, Jeff Dahmer.
Yeah.
Like, cool, I've never heard of that name. That checks out.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like Back to the Future. It's Clint Eastwood. It's fucking silly, right? Although there is not believed, there's not a connection. Subsequently, Chang relocated to Yushin Banner, where he stumbled upon a small eatery run by Mr. Xu and his son. Employing the same fabricated story he had previously used, Chang convinced Mr. Xu to let him stay the night. However, he was informed that he would have to depart the following day, as Mr. Xu intended to reunite with his family for the Chinese New Year. On the 10th of March, he unlawfully entered the local police station with the intention of acquiring a weapon. However, his search only yielded a pistol magazine and a collection of identification cards. Upon discovering a photograph resembling himself, he proceeded to destroy the remaining identification cards and hastily departed. On the 19th and 20th of March, he trespassed into 2 government offices, yet his efforts were again in vain, as he merely discovered a small quantity of bullets and magazines. Eventually, a team from Ningxia, engaged in oil field excavation, arrived in Otu Ketchiquinkui. Yeah, fuck that one. Fearing recognition, Chang fled from Inner Mongolia to Jingbian County in Shaanxi, under the guise of returning to his hometown for sustenance and refreshment. Following a brief stop of 2 days in Jingbian County, Chang embarked on a car journey back to Yinshuan. Unable to return to his residence, he contemplated revisiting the school, but abandoned the notion upon realizing that the heating system had been deactivated for the summer. After an additional 2-day stay, he proceeded to Piangling, where he utilized one of the pilfered identities to secure accommodations in a hotel. Remaining there
Gacy, John Wayne Gacy. That's my name.
Remaining there for a duration of 10 days, he eventually resolved to venture to the Weiyang district in Xi'an, with the aim of locating his recently established nephew's sand manufacturing factory. While wandering around the bus station, Chang eventually struck up a friendship with the watchman, Lao Zhengtu. Upon hearing Chang's concocted tale, Lao introduced him to a man whom Chang would apprentice under for 2 months. Question number 13. What did this local man do? Was he a witch doctor, B, a voodoo specialist, C, a church leader, or D, a city leader? Now this is, remember, Cheng Peng is going to apprentice under him for a couple months, basically while stuck in this town, because he's out of money to keep moving. So was this guy a witch doctor, a voodoo specialist, a church leader, or a city leader?
It's a voodoo. Definite voodoo, 100%.
It's the voodoo that you do.
The voodoo, the juju, the voodoo.
Craig says voodoo. Kristen.
Church leader guy.
Church leader guy to the rescue. So he was a local witch doctor.
Got it.
Yeah.
Voodoo's pretty close. Voodoo is pretty close.
Voodoo's-
The witch doctor, it's slightly different.
Also,
Exact same
only
thing.
both of them have songs about one another. So one's a little more lighthearted.
Alvin and the Chipmunky.
Yeah.
China did the same thing. So I'm told.
Well, then be more specific, Craig.
Voodoo and witch doctor, they're not the same thing. It's an old Chinese proverb or something. A man who needs to see the witch doctor goes to the voodoo or something like that.
And he says, ooh, ooh, Yes. So, yeah, he's going to work with a local witch doctor and apprentice under him for about 2 months. Cheng also engaged in various odd jobs and worked at a nearby coal mine. While working there, he had a small shack where he kept multiple dogs because apparently he couldn't fucking not do that. One day, police would arrive at his little mountain shack, remembering this is all during the time that like police are actively looking for him. So
Right.
we're having this fun little Cheng Peng adventure where he's like the apprentice of a witch doctor while working at a coal mine, and police are like, "Yeah, we found bodies all over his property and stuff," and he's like, "No, I'm a witch doctor apprentice. That wasn't me."
When you
And he's
forget
been in the movies.
when you forget what mission you're doing and you wind up on a side quest.
Yeah, like just super far. I don't even want to go to the main mission anymore. It's so far down the mountain.
I just like being a witch doctor, dude.
Yeah. So the discovery of incriminating items and human remains will obviously send shockwaves through the community and intensify the investigation. So we're going to look back through the eyes of the authorities a little here because they immediately launched this manhunt for Cheng, considering him the prime suspect in a series of heinous crimes, especially because they have witnesses. You know, they've got Xiao Zhijian and well, I can't even remember the other guy's name. That had distanced himself. He's now speaking up. So basically, anybody who's worked with him is narking on him now.
Have not the neighbors have the neighbors spoken up at all during this time? Like, are they suddenly like, "Hey, oh, we knew he was doing all this stuff"?
Hey, my neighbor has like 50 dogs and hasn't been home in like months.
Pretty
And
soon they've taken the yard back.
And when he was home, he was eating. He was feeding people to his dogs. I don't know if somebody needs to know. I called the non-emergency line for this because I thought
it's just one of those neighbors that were like, "Well, it wasn't my place."
That's me though.
But he stole your yard. Yeah, I wasn't using it. He had every right
Did
to.
they take it back? Were they like, we're just gonna claim? I guess would you go?
No, I wouldn't want to steal it back. I don't. It's not mine anymore. I don't feel like rightfully now it is his.
Super non-confrontational. I get it.
So obviously now they're starting to put things together. It's being revealed that Cheng Peng has a history of violence and he's been involved in criminal activity. The police start connecting dots, suspecting that Cheng might be responsible for a string of unsolved disappearances and murders that had plagued the area for years. The excavation team, spoiler alert, he was. The excavation team meticulously combed through the backyard, unearthing more and more evidence of Cheng's horrifying crimes. The remains found were identified as belonging to individuals who had gone missing over the years, bringing closure to grieving families. The police worked tirelessly to identify the victims and gather as much evidence as possible to build a solid case against Cheng. Meanwhile, the manhunt for Cheng intensified with law enforcement agencies from neighboring cities joining the search. The media coverage of the case reached a fever pitch, with the public demanding justice for all the victims and swift capture of the elusive suspect. So this is a huge thing going on. And remember, the entire time Cheng is on the run. They do not have... They're like, he did this, all this crazy shit. We found all these bones. All of you can rest easy. We found your loved ones. It's sad, but, here's some closure. Also, this guy's still on the lam. Days would turn into weeks, and the search for Cheng seemed to be going nowhere. The police followed countless leads, but Cheng remained one step ahead, leaving behind a trail of confusion and frustration. The authorities faced mounting pressure to apprehend him and bring an end to the reign of terror that had gripped them all. Finally, a breakthrough came when a witness reported seeing Cheng boarding a train heading towards a remote mountainous region. The police immediately mobilized a team to the area and conducting an extensive search operation. After days of relentless pursuit, they cornered Cheng in a secluded cabin deep in the wilderness, and an intense standoff ensued, with Cheng refusing to surrender and vowing to fight to the death. Negotiators were brought in, attempting to reason with him and convince him to give up peacefully. Question number 14. How would he make an escape from this situation? Would he A, fight off the police with guns? B, use an escape tunnel he had dug? It's like coal miner, baby. C, use his dogs as a distraction? Or D, he had a secret accomplice? Fight off the police with guns, use an escape tunnel he had dug, use his dogs as a distraction, or had a secret accomplice.
I mean, this sounds like Christopher Dorner.
Yeah.
You remember that story?
Vaguely.
He was a sheriff and or he was an LAPD officer and went after them for corruption, and they ended up chasing him. He was like, they're trying to kill me. And there was this big manhunt, and they caught him in the cabin in the woods.
I do remember this now. Yes.
Remember Can't Corner the Dorner?
Yeah, it's a kind of strange how well those align, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
I mean, his was a very different beginning than this, but
Yeah.
getting pigeonholed in a cabin in the woods is kind of neat.
All right, Kristen, you're the evens. You do have a 500-point lead. If you answer this correctly, actually, Craig basically needs to get this right and nail the next one regardless. So you're in a good spot. You're in a good spot. It is 1250 to 750 with 2 questions remaining.
First, I'm going to say that I'm disappointed that one of the answers wasn't using like some form of witchcraft, since he was working with a witch doctor.
Damn.
So I am disappointed that that was not one of my options.
He didn't. He distracted them with a walla walla bing bang.
I'm going to say tunnel. He tunneled his ass out of there.
Escape tunnel. All right, Craig, what do you think?
Dogs have come up a lot in this story, so I think the dogs aren't done yet. I think the dogs are the distraction. They're not the secret accomplice, they're the distraction.
He's like, go get them, my bees.
During the time when the police finally caught up with him in his small mountain cabin, he was able to make an escape by putting his dogs between himself and authorities and climbing over the kennel while being chased, and eventually making an escape, giving Craig 250 points, making it 1,000 to 1,250, heading into a 15th question, which is someone is scoring on it. So if Craig gets the next question correct, he will send it to the first artistic challenge since the return. If Kristen gets it correct, she has won. That's basically all there is to it as we head to the final question. We're not quite there yet, but when we do get there, those are the stakes. So that was actually more clutch than you know, Craig, that correct answer you just gave. Oh, man. All right. So, yeah, basically police come. He climbs over the kennel. They follow him. They're like, hey, there's the dogs. We can't get through. And he's like, haha, suckers, and climbs down this rocky outcropping and dips out. And basically the only way to get to him was through the dogs, which were well trained and not letting the police through. So after eventually making his way to his nephew's factory, remember we were talking about that earlier, his nephew owns that sand factory, Cheng proceeds to the office and introduces himself to the individual present there. To his surprise, the man turned out to be a distant relative whom he had never personally known. This relative informed Cheng that his nephew was currently away on business and advised him to wait until his return. As Cheng sat down, he was offered a cup of tea and some cigarettes. What about the good old days, like you just sit down and would you like something to drink, and which smoke do you take?
Here's a lemonade and 4 darts. Enjoy yourself.
Also lets you know about how long you're going to be waiting, huh? Oh, man, they gave me the full pack. Son of a bitch. I'll be outside if you need me. So, The relative suddenly recognized him as the man depicted on many wanted posters that had been seen a few days prior. Contemplating whether to report him or not, the relative discreetly instructed a security guard to inform the police while he engaged Cheng in conversation to keep him distracted. Upon receiving the information from the relative, the local police station promptly dispatched 6 officers to the factory in order to apprehend the fugitive. Arriving at the scene, the officers discreetly disguised themselves in plain clothes, assuming the role of ordinary customers, and entered the offices. Seizing the opportunity when Cheng was momentarily unaware, 2 of the officers swiftly pushed him to the ground and promptly arrested him. Subsequently, during the trial, Cheng, Xiao, and Da Wei were all charged with first-degree murder. Throughout the proceedings, Cheng openly admitted to his crimes and even boasted about the impossibility of finding all the body parts as he had allegedly fed them to his dogs. So when I'm saying he's boasting, that's the reason we know a lot of these details about like them doing their makeup and I shot her in the back so she could look up at me and I wanted her to leave because I didn't want to be caught for the affair. Like this all comes from Cheng Peng because he's like, yeah, I did it and here's how I did it. And nothing like someone who
Thanks,
just
OJ.
yeah, if I did it. Come on, that's what it's called. So pretty rough. Prior to reaching a verdict, numerous interviews were conducted with Chang, during which he displayed no remorse for his heinous acts. In fact, he boldly asserted that his victims, particularly the women, deserved to be killed for meddling in his affairs. When questioned by a reporter about any fear he may have regarding the remains buried in his backyard, Chang dismissively replied, this is actually kind of badass, and I hate how badass it is for how much of a fuckface Cheng Peng is. Chang dismissively replied, I do not believe in the existence of ghosts and gods. On September 27th, 1995, both Chang and Xiao were sentenced to death, while Da Wei was given a suspended death sentence, with all 3 defendants being deprived of their political rights for life. For all the marbles, question number 15. In what year did Cheng Peng die? This one is Craig's first. Closest to the answer is 250. If you can nail it, it's 1,000. If Craig gets the closest, it's a tie. We go to a sudden death playoff. If Kristen gets the closest, it's over. If Craig nails it, he is the sole victor here. Your answer, Craig. In what year did Cheng Peng die?
So he was found guilty in 1995.
Correct.
Did the Chinese really faff around? I'm not sure they do. Maybe they did. 2006.
19.
Don't go 2005 now, Kristen. Don't
No,
don't
no,
be
no.
don't be
No.
don't be strike it lucky, whatever it's called me.
No.
Price is Right. That's the one.
I'm gonna say 1997.
Couple years later, huh?
Yeah.
Gotta give them time for appeals and stuff, right? Do they need 11 years?
I don't.
Kristen is going to leave the victor because on September 27th, 1995, Cheng and Xiao were sentenced to death. I think your gut was right, Craig, because immediately after the pronunciation of the sentence, Cheng and Xiao were brought to the execution grounds in Yinchuan and were summarily shot. Basically, in China, once you're guilty, they don't really fuck around.
Like,
at least at this point, yeah, they take you out and they kill you.
Yeah, they're not.
Gave
What if he
him
was
too much
innocent?
credit.
Yeah, well, what if?
Yeah, what if?
Gave him way too much credit.
Yep. In the aftermath of the execution, all of Cheng's dogs, including the one which starred in The Old Man and His Dog, were unfortunately forcefully put down. Due to the notoriety surrounding the film, like remember, this is a huge film in China. Due to its notoriety surrounding the film, it was banned for more than 2 decades because the fact that it contained Cheng Peng and one of his cannibal dogs. And it wasn't like his dog was one of 20 in the film. Like his dog is the dog in the film, like the dog. So the ban wasn't rescinded until sometime during the late 2010s.
Wow.
So it's been almost 30 years banned. from 1995 to 2010. 25 years.
I'm
You
actually
weren't able to
surprised
watch it in China.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that it was unbanned because it feels like that.
It probably had a huge resurgence.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I feel like that's something they would leave like no, like because they're pretty tight on their censorships, right? Like they're pretty like yeah, we don't like that, you know. So they're
Yeah,
not
that's one of the
scared.
places they don't really they
don't fuck
do that
around.
whole
Yeah.
freedom of speech thing.
Yeah, so just I mean, it must have like you said, it was acclaimed. It must have some kind of very like iconic story or something, right? But like,
I'll have to
it's
watch
actually
it with the captions
surprised.
on one day and wonder about how many people that dog had a hand in.
That's kind of dark.
All right. That's why we all needed 25 years to let that process.
But that's what you would do, right? You'd be sitting there watching, going like, "That dog ate people," and that's all I would think the whole time. Like
when it gets aggressive on screen, you're like, is it acting or is it hungry?
right? Is it looking at the people going, "These are food"? Like that.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
sees the whole crew. He's like, it's a smorgasbord.
That's the story of Cheng Peng, guys. You know, it wasn't a good one. That's not what we're here for. But that's it in its entirety. He, as you might suspect, once caught and charged with first-degree murder, taken out, and his poor puppies were too. So you know, they didn't know. They didn't know they were eating people, and if they did know it was wrong. Okay, dogs
It all started from stealing a TV, which just goes to show television's always to blame for everything.
Exactly right. Well, Kristen, you want to take a victory lap? Tell everybody again where they can find you in case they missed it at the top.
You can find me on Twitch. It's Kristen A. All one word because I don't know how to use underscores as spaces.
And it's like the Canadian A, not the letter A.
Yeah, not the letter A. And on Instagrams and stuff like I'd be doing gramming. So
we'll put her links in the episode description too, so
also,
you guys can find her.
Also, thank you for having me on again, and Craig, thank you. You were a good opponent. There was many moments where I thought I was going to lose there. It was
came right down to the
battle.
end.
Yeah, it came right down to the end.
Craig, anything you want to throw out there at the end here, buddy?
I was robbed. I never looked at IMDb during this. You know, this is all a bit like, what's he called, Ben Johnson, that famous Canadian sprinter. So I expect in the future at some point I shall be installed as the correct victor in this, but for now I shall react with grace and say good game in that was supposed to be a British accent, but it wasn't. A sort of RAF Biggles accent. I don't know what it was. If anyone can place it, get in touch.
Listen, they're here. The only accents they've heard are terrible accents. In fact, last week we did a British killer, and I was like, should I have saved it? And I was like, no, probably better than probably better than
All talk the same. All the British killers.
Accent. Well, thank you guys so much for doing this. Greg, what do you got to share here at the end, buddy?
Lonelyfanswith2z's.com. Come get extorted for money.
Does exist. Lonelyfans with 2 Z's is a real website. If you visit it, you'll know. serialchillerspod.com for us, guys. All of it's there. You want to know about us, where you can find us, where you can listen, where you can give to the show, all of that good stuff. That's all there. The new merch, the new levels on Patreon are up and running. We're so far ahead right now that I'm telling this to an audience that's like 3 months down the road. But go check it out, guys. Hang out and share, join the Discord, and all that good stuff. So, unless there's anything real important, anybody? Then
No.
For Kristen, for Craig, and for Hello Greg, I'm Cromulent Jesse, and remember, don't talk to strangers. And we've done it.
Yay! That was fun. That was fun.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.